there, you great and gorgeous goblins. Welcome to the Goblins and Growlers podcast. If you like what you're hearing, come check us out over at patreon.com/goblinsgrowlers, where you can find all original adventures, monsters, items, and traps, plus bonus episodes for our actual play sister podcast, Quid Pro Roll, and so much more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Goblins and Growlers podcast. I'm Josh Maltby at Black Cloak DM on pretty much just Discord at this point. And with me today is the awesome and amazing Art. And as our extra special guest is the judicious and jubilant Jarrett. Oh, you know what? I didn't say what Art's handles were. Art can be found at the_artificer on which all places are you doing right now, Art?
Let's just say Instagram. That's the only dream I'm keeping alive right now.
I mean, you're recently employed. I understand. You don't have as much time for social media anymore.
No.
And Jarrett, where can people find you should they be so inclined?
I'm mostly just Dice Dungeons at this point, so it's everywhere. Instagram is the best one because it's got pictures.
Hell yeah! So we have brought Jarrett on today because Jarrett, what is your title at Dice Dungeons? I haven't actually looked at this before.
Yeah, so co-founder. That's my what I go by, which is just the everything, all of it. So
Okay.
I thought you were about to ask him, what did you do? I don't just the way you were staring, just like, what have you done? So I think that's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, I know we've been doing the narrower view, but Jarrett did this like super sick. No, not that one. No, where is it?
I've seen your whole room.
His background's so good. And we do this super narrow view now. What if I just... Oh, I know what I could do. Hold on.
Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Look at how nice that room looks for this.
Yeah, this is the Dice Dungeons
good.
office. So,
it is the Dice
I considered
Dungeon.
being out in the front, but it's closer to the street and it would make a lot of noise. But that's our out in the front is our conference room where where we have our tavern set up for it's a conference room. We mostly play D&D in it, I would say.
I love the idea of having your own dedicated office tavern that you can play D&D.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice if you can get it. I recommend it for everyone.
So good. Living the dream. So we've brought on the co-founder of Dice Dungeons today because he's been working on something a little extra special that is near and dear to our hearts, but also I suspect is near and dear to pretty much everyone in our listening audience's hearts, which is where is it? Share it. I want to see it. There it is. Ha.
Yeah, you did it.
PT Lamarck's Cryptid Codex, a bestiary for 5e, a Kickstarter that is launching, did you tell me 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, so we're looking for October 14th. There's always a chance of a slight delay, but that's the unofficial release that I guess right now is exclusive to you. Now only you know about that.
I mean, it has the very nice notify me on launch button. So if folks are really excited about this, I mean, this episode, we're recording it on the 1st, but this episode releases on the 6th. So that's only 8 days away for folks that are listening to this episode live on release. So if there is anything that comes up that's like, oh, you know what, like we're not going to be able to make that same release, that same start of Kickstarter date, then being on that notify me on launch list will help you not lose track of it.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, but
Important.
currently October 14th, morning of, will be sort of our big release. Right now it's in sort of the, what they call the pre-launch stage of things. So, and so October is super important for it, because we are in the Witch Starter phase. So Kickstarter has all spooky stuff going on in October.
Yes.
That certain people got sort of dedicated to, and they kind of gave us a heads up, and we were like, I've got something perfect. Let me tell you about it.
That's so good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about what folks can expect from the finished product. I know obviously a lot of this is going to go up on the Kickstarter page, I would hope.
Yes.
But it's not always that Kickstarter gets to have a live interview of one of the people most. Were you the primary writer on this one? I know you're often the primary writer on some of these.
Me and my business partner, John, do a lot of sort of the primary sort of writing bits and that sort of thing. So we kind of tag team it a lot through kind of just, okay, and this monster, and put it together. He does a ton of the stat block generation and that sort of side of things. And then I do more of the layouts and art development side. But I think we both got so excited with this one. We just both sort of threw everything in as fast as possible. So, yeah. I
can understand and respect that. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. When did all of this start?
Oh, it's been 3 years. When I sort of first idea of just you know what? I would love to have the Mothman in a 5e game. I need the stat blocks for that. I want that to be the big bad of the next few adventures. And from there, just okay, but what if it's a full cryptid book of monsters from every state, as well as all the heavy hitters that kind of outside of the US, but trying to sort of capture everybody's local cryptid, not just and not just the big ones, right? You've got the Honey Island swamp monster from Louisiana, or the ones. Oh,
you went niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we did was we tried to divide out every state, and we said let's get one for each, and then once we started kind of developing that, we were okay, Kickstarters, that's the way we go. We've done a couple of books before on Kickstarter, and this is sort of the spiritual successor, I guess, a little bit to Mutated Monsters, our first book. And with Mutated Monsters, we did a lot more classic, D&D creatures, kind of reimagined, because maybe this is a vampiric dragon, or maybe this is a rust monster that fed off a dragon's horde, that sort of thing. And then this one, we went a lot more real world, pulling from, instead of just from D&D classic monsters, now we're oh yeah, the classic cryptid, and what can we do there? So,
I mean, in a manner of speaking, D&D monsters are just I don't know, old time, ye olden Middle Ages cryptids. Dragons and bugbears and all these various high fantasy epic beasts are mostly based on oh yeah, some dirt washed off the cliffs of Dover, and we notice there's this massive creature inside that has big sharp teeth, and I don't know what killed that thing, but I'm glad it's not around now.
Yeah, and there's definitely, you have the Yeti and that sort of stuff in the D&D, the classic manuals and that sort of thing. But you don't have Chessie, the Chesapeake Bay monster, right? They haven't done that one yet. For some reason, they haven't chose to
they don't have the modern myths.
Right. So.
I think they do have the dinosaur that we think Nessie and Chessie and the might be, right? What is it? It's
the P.
The plesiosaur?
Yeah.
Plesiosaur sounds right. Yeah. My brain kept saying Parasaurolophus, and I'm I know for sure it's not a Parasaurolophus.
So Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the plesiosaur.
Yeah.
Plesiosaur sounds right.
Yeah, that one's in there. That one's in the classic. You get to kind of play around a little bit more though when you're like doing the specific ones and like have like, well, maybe if it's Chessie, if it's the Chesapeake Bay monster, what if it can summon crabs? Like, what if it can has some more local fun, right? So,
is that a thing that's in there that you've given them these powers related to their states?
Yeah. So with a lot of them, we played around in that space to give them like legendary actions or special abilities that will be like dedicated to what they, because like you can't just doing another plesiosaur. You've got to have more.
Yeah, they're cryptids. They have to be supernatural. Exactly. I think that's part of the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yes. So tell us a little more about. You gave me an art piece for one of your Nessie variants.
Oh yeah, the Altamaha. That one is based for Georgia. And it is one of those the classic kind of lake monster style. And Zora, our artist for this piece, really nailed it. Love this piece. It's been people, we've done a few little preview pieces, and this has been one of the like super exciting ones that we were able to do.
That is terrifying.
She's so pretty and so terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. And that's sort of like this one sort of speaks a lot towards that art style that we're going for this, for the book entirely. Lots of charcoal kind of textures, lots of grayscale, as well as lots of sort of like we wanted sort of that murder board sort of like cobbled together notes style. So we're doing a lot with that kind of in the layouts, which we'll be previewing relatively soon to kind of showcase like, so PT Lamarck's is the kind of idea there behind it of like, what if this sort of like crazy person is cobbling together notes of all of these like creatures into one big compendium, and it's just like tucked away all in there, and he's got scribbles down the spine that kind of can be the story of how all these kind of pieces are together. So we wanted this art style of very like kind of field notes and kind of charcoal sketches. So yeah.
I'm gonna do what I can to do justice to this piece for the folks that are just listening on the podcast side. We have what appears to be a Loch Ness-esque monster that's got kind of like Eastern dragon vibes, because it's got the like spine ridges all along the neck. It's got like the long, like curling whiskers off of the face. And then a couple of, they almost look like stag horns on the top of its head. Very like Eastern dragon vibes. And it's this beautiful black and white piece that very much has like charcoal scratching of like a foggy moor with like the sun is coming through, but just barely. It's intense, but it's also like really, really beautiful. I have no idea. And Art, you'd know more about this than I would. How artists get that like reflection effect?
I was hoping
to look so good.
You would mention, because that's gorgeous. That was the first thing I noticed, was just how gorgeous this reflection is. And it really like comments on like just how still the lake is, and it makes it more ominous with just this like kind of swooping staring motion that this monster is doing, and it's the calm before the storm. I don't know how your artist accomplished just making that so gorgeous.
Yeah. No,
I'm already gushing.
So much of her work like is kind of infused throughout that just like really has informed a ton of what we've created. And like this monster is especially like fun because it's not necessarily like a like straight up aggressive monster. This is one that sort of, has, that sort of style of sort of kind of guardian of the area, but not necessarily like a all-out attacking kind of creature. So capturing that sort of like, it could threaten you if it wanted to, but it doesn't necessarily also, it seem like it's going to just come and grab you no matter what.
Yeah. So. Most cryptids they want to be left alone. That's the whole thing. It's why they can't be found. They're like, please leave me alone. I mean, maybe like Snallygaster and like the Jersey Devil, they're kind of more aggressive, but most of them, they want you to just stay away. Right. So it really does capture that. Yeah.
It's fantastic. So you were talking a little bit about how designing like Chessie, for example, you were like, I need to have legendary abilities. I want to have, did you exclusively make, I mean, Chessie, Chesapeake Bay, being able to summon a small army of crabs, beautiful, magnificent, poetry in motion. How did you make decisions for like what those abilities for each individual cryptid should be? Is it mostly based on like local, like things that feature prominently in the local area? So like Chesapeake Bay, as we are well aware, is known for its crab fishing, and there's a wide variety. If you get to the Chesapeake Bay, there's a wide variety of crab restaurants where you can get like fresh caught crab and prepared in a myriad of ways. Is it similar to that, or is it more based on the lore, or is it kind of like mix and match where you can find stuff?
Yeah, I'd say definitely like a mix and match. Sort of, we wanted to have fun with it where we could. We wanted to be true to the lore wherever possible, but also not necessarily make things boring. And sort of, it's a big mix of figuring out, and it's also tricky. Thinking through the levels, like the CRs of the encounters, that sort of stuff. You can't have like as much as I want to. Not every cryptid can be legendary with all of these super abilities. Sometimes you have a jackalope, and that's going to be a little bit of a smaller, little bit lower risk, maybe
quick attack
unless it's in pack. Yeah. But playing around in that space of like, where are the CR levels? What can they do? Has been really fun to sort of start kind of really piecing together. And one of the neat things with Kickstarter is we get to do play testing once the campaign kind of is over, of sending it out to people, seeing how people, ideas that people have, or just, different test at tables, seeing how it interacts with actual play, and then kind of continuing to develop each monster kind of organically over the time that we have between Kickstarter and publication.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I especially love that, because cryptids, they aren't made by one person. I mean, they're a culmination of like up to hundreds of different stories of people's interaction with them. So one person could be like, Mothman is the harbinger of death, and other people are like, no, Mothman is a guardian. He's
right.
Yeah. So yeah, having different people like just input, I really like that for this project. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun. I mean, I love it across the board for any of our what we do, but it really works here because you can really sort of like, hey, like tell like this. If you are from this state, that creature probably better than I do. Like, tell me about it. If we got something wrong, let's tinker. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. You had mentioned jackalopes, and as I was thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, like lumberjack, tall tale, American folklore kind of creatures, which then got me like, do you also have snipes in there?
Not yet. I think we could.
You heard it here first, folks. We just need to hear enough demand for snipes for them to be added.
Justice for snipes, I guess.
We have done so much from like Kickstarter comments in general anyway. Like it takes the slightest amount of push to get us to be like, yeah, sure, let's make it. Let's add that. That's fine.
Like they just need to comment with a reliable lore source and the fact that they're excited about the concept.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't hurt to pledge more.
There you go. Now you're
that's
thinking.
A fair point. I love the concept of this book so much because we ourselves are very cryptid fascinated individuals. I think the last time I talked about cryptids was actually for a previous episode of Goblins and Growlers podcast. As I think about it, I think it was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something insane like that, because this show has been going for ages now. And we were talking about, I want to say it was, well, now I'm blanking on the name. I want to say it was Arizona, and it was the Mogollon. Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. It was like the Mogollon cryptid. It was like some kind of Mogollon monster. And people were disagreeing about whether it was a Bigfoot or a giant trapdoor spider. It is just the Mogollon monster. That is what it is.
Those are two very different things.
Yeah.
They are incredibly different things. But the thing is that it's an area in Arizona. So part of the lore of the Mogollon monster is, wait, real quick, is the Mogollon monster in the book?
It is not. I think we have Arizona nailed down yet. So maybe.
Oh, all right. I might have a candidate for you here, just as something to noodle on. The Mogollon monster is frequently referred to as the Arizona Bigfoot. And they're like, some places describe it as kind of an ape-like creature that, up on two legs, things like that. Mogollon is this like big rim ridge area that most of Arizona is fairly desert climb. This is like fully temperate mountainous terrain inside Arizona. It's a little wild, and a lot of people go camping there. And so the sightings for the Mogollon monster are few and far between, as per usual with cryptids, but most of them describe it as this like ape creature. But some places talk about how there's all these disappearances around Arizona, and there's all these caves that pop up that aren't on maps. Like, these caves just appear out of nothing, and they're there, and people go missing all the time around cave systems. That's just a common thing. And so their argument is that what we have seen of the Mogollon monster and we think is an ape up on two legs is essentially a running spider that uses trapdoors and cave systems to pop out and abduct people from their campsites.
I hate that. I'm never going back to Arizona. No. No. I don't need Shelob after me. No.
It's wild talking about that after talking about how, like, so many cryptids are peaceful and easygoing. That one doesn't sound very peaceful or easygoing.
It's protecting its nest. What if it has babies in there?
I will say the Bigfoot interpretation tends to be fairly, like, innocuous. Like, it's essentially it's a slightly darker than traditional Bigfoot, but like fairly large ape-like creature that just wants to be left alone, just wants to do its own thing out in the woods. The spider interpretation, I think, is some folks trying to explain why caves keep popping up where caves were not before.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I get that.
That's where most myths come from, explaining things that we don't have explanations for. So, okay, but I do hate it.
I'll allow it.
So, I don't know. It sounds like Arizona might be kind of locked in now.
I don't know another one from Arizona off the top of my head, so I can't. Great. I can't. No.
Art, what is a cryptid that you find absolutely compellingly fascinating?
Compellingly fascinating. The answer is all of them, Joshua. Okay, I don't know if this is compellingly fascinating, but the squonk. The poor, sad little squonk.
Hell yeah.
I want one. I want to tell him he's pretty. I don't. Just in case anyone doesn't know the squonk, it is a 4-legged pig-like creature that is so terrifyingly ugly that it hides its face, and you can only hear its wails because it's crying about how ugly it is.
Oh no!
And it's so sad.
Yeah.
And I love him.
I don't. This one is sounding like rough material for a 5e bestiary book. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's fair. You might need to face a lot of inner demons for this one, but I just love
Hey,
him.
do you guys want to fight the saddest monster in this whole bestiary? Let's go.
I was so sad. So it's a Pennsylvania cryptid, and I was so sad.
Okay.
Because recently I drove through Pennsylvania, and I missed the Squonk Festival by like 2 days.
What?
There's a whole festival. Is it? Oh, I think it's near York. I'm getting it wrong, but there's a whole festival where it's just Squonk related things. And it's sometime in like August, and I missed it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, this one has appeared in a few rough drafts. So we've talked about this one. It certainly does not make for a like heroic adventure moment to defeat, but it's certain. But adding it, for a lot of options, you've got a lot of like ways to play around in that space of like having. People should adopt this.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't have to fight all these. This can be your pet. Like, maybe he'll fight for you.
I was thinking that maybe I would have, if you had the Squonk in the book, I think I would have the Squonk be an NPC, one of those like mysterious shadowy figures that you don't get to see despite them giving you like rewards and quests and things like that. And because inevitably, anytime you introduce an NPC like that, the party's like, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but we got to figure it out. Like we're going to unmask this fool and we're going to see exactly what's going on underneath. I bet it's like an illithid or something. And then they pull the mask off of the Squonk and like, I don't know. I have to make them like roll Constitution saving throws to be horribly nauseous. And they're like, oh God, no. Like, and then the Squonk is like, don't look at me, I'm hideous. Oh.
Yeah.
Like that would be awesome. I'd be about that.
See, I think it works.
Jarrett, what is your favorite? What's your favorite cryptid? And I'm going to assume that they're in the book. It just seems likely.
Yeah. So I mean, favorite is hard, but I'm always gonna just say Mothman because you can't.
He's
so
pretty cool. He also has the coolest lore. Like it's
right.
So specific, and like I think the FBI was involved at some point. So you're not wrong. He's famous for a reason.
So much. There's so many. It just keeps going. We've been to the Mothman Museum. And it's just a constant. It's not just like, oh, here's the historic records of when we heard about him that day, and then the FBI got involved, and then there's so many things that were just like, and also this, and it's just so exciting. Yeah, there you go. So
hell yeah,
it's just a fun one to write for. It's a fun one to incorporate weird, unique abilities, like a foresight style ability where we've got it can basically. It has advantages where it knows kind of that how you're going to attack it and that sort of stuff. We knew Mothman would be front cover of the book, and then as well as some of these larger pieces that we've been working through, the Jersey Devil. certainly like comes in like into play. Yeah. So like with Mothman, that's front and center right on the cover. We did some adventures, kind of tracking down like Mothman to see what's going on, and like really got kind of like very excited in that art piece of having sort of these reddish wings that are kind of like the only color in the field, and the claw marks on the trees and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, that is fantastic. For a moment when I was looking at it, I thought that the entire trunk of the tree was like part of Mothman.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what part of the lore Mothman has this like huge, long, flowing body, but I am here for it. I will tell you.
Yeah. I see it now. I've only seen it on my small mobile. He's perched, ready to pounce.
Yeah, perched atop the tree, eyes glowing red. The little red marks on the wings. The wings are massive, by the way.
Right.
Like
they'd have to be so he could fly, because these are real creatures that physics need to apply to.
Yeah.
And that was we actually like we've regularly discussed and gone back and forth a little bit on size categories for Mothman specifically, but many of the monsters of Mothman, is it medium, is it large? That's what I'm right. I'm always pushing large, because like the wings, you got to have these giant Mothman style wings, and it's got to tower above people. It can't just be a like medium size kind of regular person size thing. So
I mean, we know from stories that Mothman's big enough to be readily visible in tail lights while chasing a car,
right,
and be threatening to people who are inside a car.
Right.
Like if Mothman was a small or medium creature and you saw it chasing you in a car, you'd be like, well, let me spin this bad boy around.
Let me just back it up real quick.
Yeah.
Mothman's got to be large enough that you're like, oh God, no, please no, drive faster.
I personally think that he's like a guardian, like that's warning people of potential dangers, but he does need to be big enough that he is perceived as a threat.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's always really fun to play around in that sort of like the prophecy side of having a creature with that lore that it's got like knowledge of the future, is really fun to play around in too, because like you could have Mothman as that sort of aspect of like a warning sign in your game, that something else even like pretty bad is about to happen in the town that the adventurers are in. So just having that side of it is really fun, just from a storytelling perspective. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
He's a Grim.
He's a Grim, and I just really enjoy like the whole concept being like these cryptids are going to be whatever the GM at whatever table makes of them to a certain extent. But when you give them abilities like foresight and you make them large, and the GM's like, yeah, you're not going to want to just mess with this one. Like, this is going to be bad for you if this goes sideways. You want to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
That's always such a nice thing to put in a GM's pocket.
Yeah.
Like I know I personally really appreciate that when game designers do that for me.
Yeah, we always try to be very helpful to the DM for our books. One of the things that we kind of specialized in when we did Mutated Monsters and carried over into this one was not just lore, but also combat tactics. So that you've got a laid out sort of, this is how this creature is going to react to any sort of attack, whether or not they're a creature that is going to be really laid back until you push him too far, or it's going to be one that is just all out aggressive. Like one of the fun ones for that was the Beast of Bladenborough, which is essentially just huge, vampiric cat, and that one not a chill guy as far as you can find the lore on. But like having that sort of like, okay, this one is one that's going to come in with this, it's going to use this ability, and then it will proceed to do this. And having that sort of stuff has been sort of important. We also added what we did with mutated monsters as well, of optional loot. So that the creatures become a little like certain ones will have certain things that you can harvest or certain benefits you can kind of arrange by defeating the monster. So it gives you a little bit of a like, oh, this is the optional. I can pull this. These horns become this sort of thing. So
you're gonna loot Mothman's body.
You could, and a lot of adventurers will try.
Yeah, that'd be my first reaction. I loot. I want some of that booty. Just.
As someone who has published online a photo of himself touching Mothman statue's butt, like, yeah, I get it. You got to get a little bit of that booty.
The sculptor didn't have to do that, but they did that for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know that for sure. Mothman's butt may really look like that. Like that's.
I haven't gone through all the Mothman prophecies, but I have not yet run into an account of his booty.
They saved that for the end.
That's probably.
Okay.
I was gonna say
that's the whole last chapter.
I mean, you don't want to open with and there he was in the window, his juicy caboose hanging out free behind him, like. Oh my God. Honestly, I love Mothman so much. I'm not surprised that Mothman would be the one that goes on the front of the book, just from a pure delight standpoint. Uh-huh. I think Mothman has some of the best brand recognition of any of the cryptids. Right. I don't know who their publicist is, but good on them. Yeah,
the Mothman PR team really did some work.
Yeah. They did great work.
I was like thinking about, like, I made the joke to Josh earlier that like there's all of these lock monsters that Essie and Tessie and Nessie and like Nessie, but Nessie is the only one people know. Right. It's like it's the PR. That's it. Like Mothman has a great story. We ran with it. Nessie, Bigfoot, I feel like just appears everywhere. I think he's just he like shotgun effect. He was like, I'm just gonna be everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
That was his tactic.
He's that like sort of actor that's constantly working. Like not necessarily like your box office draw, but he's always in the movie. That's Bigfoot.
Yeah, like Mothman just had one really good franchise and has just been riding off of that. But Bigfoot is just like on to the next project, on to the next space. Yeah.
Your Tim Curry's versus your I was going to say Nick Cage, but Nick Cage has also been in 19 bajillion different films.
Yeah, like a Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Stanley
Tucci. You heard it here, guys.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, so as you were building out different cryptids, I recognize that there are design challenges with Monstercraft just in general. I noticed that you specifically point out you're 5e compatible. Are you 5e compatible? Are you 5.5e compatible? Or is it basically both?
Yeah, so this one, monsters are sort of the easy one for being both, right? You can kind of really kind of toe both lines really easily. For this one, we decided to go all full on with the 2024 rule set. Because it is just you can use it in both, but it's a little easier to deal with there's not a lot of alignment kind of side of things to deal with cryptids necessarily, and you've got a little more powerful but a little more kind of scaled in the challenge rating and that sort of side of things, but there's no real rule set changes that really make a divide between the two. So this is our first one in that 5.5 rule set style, aside from with 80s Adventures we did both. So we
makes sense.
We released that one, like we were working on that while all of the decisions were being made of what 5 versus 5.5 would be. And we're just we don't want to choose a team. Let's just do both. So
I get that.
Yeah.
As you were working on designing out monsters, I know there's been a little bit of argument about like monsters are more powerful in the 2024 rules. Do you feel like that's the case for the stuff you were creating? Or if somebody came at it and they were like, I'm going to use the 2014 rules, are you like, nah, you'll be fine. You'll need to modulate things a little bit, maybe HP, but otherwise you'll be fine.
I think in general that it's so dependent on your crew.
True.
I have been running for pretty much a table full of DMs for a while, or playing with a lot of people who know a lot of the rules, and they're pretty quick to figure things out. So it really it's versus doing some one shots and that sort of thing with like new players and all that sort of stuff. It's very different. So that has so much more of a dependency than 5 versus 5.5 in general. I think that it's really hard to say like, oh, this one is harder, this one is easier. I find a few of the pieces to be just a little bit harder, but also the players are a little more powerful. So it really sort of evens out. But I think in general, especially with kind of what we're working with in the styles and veins, that we're doing a lot more storytelling with our stat blocks and that sort of thing, that I don't find it much of a difference. So.
Okay. It's good to be aware of, because it's interesting. There's kind of a perception of change that's easy to be like, oh, well, it feels different. But then when I'm talking to folks who are actually in there making the actual adjustments to stat blocks, it feels like something you'd be extra conscious of. So the fact that you're like, it's really not that different from a monster block standpoint is kind of reassuring, honestly. Right.
Yeah. And challenge ratings are such an art and not a science to begin with, that it becomes sort of you're just trying to do your best, and find out what works, do play testing to get it as right as you can.
The fact that WotC keeps being like, yeah, we talk about challenge rating in this book, and it's always like, yeah, challenge rating. Here's kind of an idea of, generally speaking, sort of how that works. And it's like, you're the ones who invented the system. How do you not have answers for this? Come
Your
on,
one
man.
job.
Yeah. I think I don't think there is a perfect system for that side of things. There's you take one monster and put it in water, and suddenly the combat has changed. I've seen people just die to a shark that should be so low challenge rating for them, but they're not everything changes once it hits the table. It's so dependent on the players, the environment, all the other things, that you just kind of get your loose approximation of a challenge rating. You keep it in at least sort of the alignment, the 1 to 20 plus alignment, and then you kind of figure it out. So
yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable. And I don't know. I haven't found CR to be that helpful when I'm writing monsters. But then as I think about oh yeah, if you take this monster out of this context, the context of the adventure I wrote it for, how dangerous is it really? And it's it ends up being a lot about like how quickly will a wizard die if this monster is left alone with them. Like, is it instantly? Is it like, hold on, like let's look at some stats here. And it's so challenging to get even a approximation of accuracy for like, this is how dangerous this creature is. Because like you said, like some creatures, I think Banshee is one of my favorite examples of this, because Banshee, at the very least in 5e, had an insta-kill ability if you fail to save. Like, it's like, nah, you dead.
Right.
Or, I guess, unconscious. You're doing saving throws still.
Right.
But it's like one roll, and everybody in the affected area could DPK instantly.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's pretty dangerous. But then the Banshee as like health, etc., isn't all that dangerous, and you can silence them as well so that they're not that dangerous. And so it's like, if people are ready to deal with a Banshee, yeah, they're not that dangerous.
Yeah.
If they're at all unprepared, all of a sudden it's like, instantly lethal encounter.
Right. I mean, so many of those like early level, like specific target type things, like you're like a basilisk, like, once you're just petrifying a player outright, like that can swing so wild. But
I don't know. All of this sounds very true to life. If I'm not expecting a Banshee, I will probably die. So
yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable.
Doesn't make for good storytelling, but it's true.
yeah.
Do you have anything in the book that you're like, oh my God, like this is exactly how this creature should be designed, but this is going to be so swingy depending on circumstance that they encounter this thing in? Like, I imagine your Nessia likes probably, if they're encountered outside of water, are less dangerous.
For sure.
But
I would say one of the tricky ones, Chupacabra, like, because it's that sort of style, like that, what you were saying before, just like that, like it's got interesting sort of vampiric style abilities, that sort of thing, but it's also a very small little creature. So like, you can't sort of like just assume, like you can't just start stacking on like, oh, here, it should get this and it should get this, it should get this. And then you've got this like thing that like it bites one player and kills them outright, but it's a small dog size. It's, so that one's tricky. So because you want it to have as all of its classic abilities. You're also picking the package that it also appears in.
Yeah,
fair, reasonable.
I mean, Chupacabra is like a 2-foot vampire, essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would be a weaker but faster vampire?
Right.
Question mark. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also, so we were experimenting around with a lot of like paralytic abilities, because it sort of has that sort of style of like, oh, it like can paralyze a person and then
that does make sense.
Vampires and that sort of thing. So that's sort of where we're kind of like, some of the stats that we're kind of working with on that, with that one, to keep it sort of, but it is kind of a tricky to get that CR just right, because it is things that can paralyze, things that can stun people, very, very different. So,
I mean, I've watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I know how dangerous tiny creatures can be.
True.
Okay, like
yeah, that was just a very small jackalope, is what that was. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why it was so dangerous. It was its own cryptid.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at. We're starting to run a little towards the end of time. I did want to make sure that we took an opportunity to show off, because the first image you pulled up was the Jersey Devil battle. And you mentioned the Jersey Devil really early in the show, but I was like, it's too early to be getting this epic. I can't just break this out right now. But I did want to make sure that it got on there.
Yeah, we haven't given him his due. He's I mean, one of the classics, right? You can't can't not talk about
so
Jersey
cool.
Devil. Yeah.
Well,
and
this piece is so good.
Yeah, another piece by Zora, like, again, that sort of charcoal and style with that light. That really like, so this one is the Jersey Devil doing battle with a cleric, which just sounds epic as epic as it sounds, right? So
please tell Zora I'm in love with her. Just
yes.
This is gorgeous.
It's so
just the
good.
composition's insane. Like there's the, I don't even know how to describe it. This U sweep that's going from how the cleric has moved his arm, how his light is being cast, and then it's also repeated in the wings. So it's just this. It's the coolest composition. How she plays with light is insane, and then the Jersey Devil. It's even more epic and sexy than I have ever imagined the Jersey Devil looking.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the Jersey Devil took a cannonball to the chest and was unfazed. Like, that's, you gotta have abs of steel for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you've got the tail sweep that kind of comes around. It's really sort of like a masterclass in composition. I think when Zora put this one together, I was just floored. It's really hard sometimes getting these art pieces and then being like, oh, I've got to do justice in this stat block and then this lore write up.
I am super intimidated. Oof.
Oh my God. It's so good. Like, what an incredible piece. Just like the huge bat wings, the 4 horns coming out of the head, like 2 gazelle style, 2 ram style, the long, like, ram's beard coming down. Like, it really does look very satanic, like classic literature satanic. I mean, if I saw this thing anywhere, I'd be like, oh God, Satan's on the planet. Oh no, bad times is coming.
The thing I love most about you choosing this sort of style is it fits with the majority of cryptid sightings, cryptid like revelations, which is like from mid 1700s to like late 1800s, where, I mean, we didn't have cameras. We just had people's retelling and people like sketching out these crazy creatures, which just compounded on how crazy they were. Of just someone would see a sketch and they'd draw it and they'd see it and move on. And this was also the time of exploration where people were just sketching in these sketchbooks and making their own like notes and everything. So I feel like it speaks to the time period of when cryptids were even more rampant, I guess.
Yeah, we wanted that to be sort of that like almost feel like it's a found sort of journal, like it's something you would like pull out of your attic and be like, what is this thing? With the art style, like across the board, with even just the writing and the layouts, we really wanted to have that feel of it being cobbled together, and maybe not even being like because there's so much lore about these creatures, there's so much different versions of the creatures, so we wanted it to kind of have that sort of like, okay, well, this is one person's sort of like what they have come up with, as far as what they've pulled from notes and what they've seen. So even the feeling that maybe in a few spaces they didn't get it exactly right either, kind of was important for what we wanted, for kind of what we presented. So.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we're so excited about it. Like it's been one of those like in the works sort of back of mind for a very long time, and to see it, even to see it at this stage where we're about to do the Kickstarter for it and that sort of thing, is just very exciting to be able to see, it with any of these things that we're doing, but seeing this one come across the finish line and start to make its way into art, into stat blocks, into layout. it's just very exciting. So
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So, all right, real quick, anyone who wants to follow the project, or if October 14th has already come and the project does not have any speed bumps or delays to launch, then you can go and check the project out. You can look it up on Kickstarter, PT Lamarck's Cryptid Codex, a bestiary for 5e. You can look up Dice Dungeons on Kickstarter, or you can go direct to the website, which we will be including in the show notes, as well as having up on the screen right now. And additionally, if they think, hey, this Jarrett guy seems really cool, and he's talked about some of these other projects that he's worked on, and those sound really cool. And also Dice Dungeons, that sounds like a website where I might be able to find some dice. Then they should also go to dicedungeons.com, where you can find a wide variety of TTRPG tools and accessories and exclusives and other module books. And just what would you highlight for someone that you're really excited about that's on the website right now?
Yeah, so I think one of the more recent additions that we just did are our cloth battle maps. We just finished the fulfillment for that one. And those are microfiber battle maps that are kind of, you throw them in a bag, take them out of the bag, throw them on the table, you're ready to play. That were a little bit of one of the many passion projects that you'll find on the website that are, so we play on the go a lot because we are going to a lot of conventions and that sort of thing. So these have been super helpful in that sort of case. And we just finally got them from, fulfilled on the Kickstarter, and now we're releasing them on the website. So that's sort of my
hell yeah
current yay! Look at that thing in the public now released.
You did it.
So yeah.
Well, and I know a lot of folks will, because they want to use Sharpie or what have you to indicate things, they'll throw down like a Mylar sheet or something similar to just be able to like dry erase on.
Yeah.
Having something like this underneath that, and then like, it'd be so good.
Yeah, we just grab lamination paper, and you can just throw it on top, dry erase, wet erase, whatever, kind of, or even just popping down if you've already got terrain, dungeon tiles, that sort of stuff. You can place it around, add to what is on there, and we did so many of the classic locations. So like you're never not going to need a forest. You're never not going to need a swamp. Tried to make sure it's all the places that you can use again and again.
That's fantastic. So cool. And these look great. I'm really excited about these just generally. I somehow I missed that y'all were doing these, despite the fact that every time I see y'all at a con, I'm like, ooh, let me go see what Dice Dungeons are up to. Yeah. So I'm really glad you mentioned that.
Are constantly creating some new thing. We can't stop ourselves.
That's so good.
Eventually, we're going to run out of room in our fulfillment area, like center for stuff. But I
get a bigger fulfillment center.
Yeah, Amazon can have like 90 bajillion products. Yeah. Like, why can't y'all?
I'm just here with solutions for you. I don't.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm really glad that you pointed this out because I didn't know they existed before right now. This is so good.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to call it there so that I can real quick go through housekeeping stuff. But once more, if you want to find Jarrett's work, you can go to dicedungeons.com. If you want to find the Kickstarter, you can go to Kickstarter projects Lamarck's Cryptid Codex 5e, and that'll be theoretically launching on October 14th. So if you're listening to this on day of release, you can go and follow the project so that just in case the 14th doesn't happen and it's, I don't know, the 16th or the 20th or something like that, you can still be right there on the cutting edge of what happens with this project. All right. So Jarrett, where can folks find you if they want to seek you specifically out? Like, I think you said Instagram earlier. with all the beautiful, beautiful pictures.
Yeah, Instagram or just through the Dice Dungeons website, that sort of thing is my easiest reach. Or, all over the place at conventions. New York Comic Con is coming up very soon. PAX Unplugged at the end of the year. Very excited for that. So just pop by the booth and wave at me. Depending on what day I won't be fully disassociating yet.
That's really fair.
Try and catch Jarrett before he's answered 5.5 million questions about the various books on the table.
Right.
So, all right. Inver isn't here today. I tried to call out Inver because I knew Inver would be really excited about cryptids. So hopefully as she's watching along with this, she's like, oh my God, I should have been there. I don't know. She was busy. So I'm sure whatever she was doing was actually important.
Probably cryptid hunting, to be honest.
Oh my God, you think?
Yeah.
Like she's out there in the woods right now.
With a net.
Gosh dang it. Art, where can people find you should they be so interested as to seek out your gorgeous mug?
Just go out into the woods and scream. Or go to Instagram. I am _artificer. I try to keep up on that one. Maybe one day I'll go back to Twitch. That'd be neat.
Yeah. And then I'm Josh Maltby at Black Cloak DM on pretty much just Discord. I do have Blue Sky. I do have X. I do have other things. But if you message me in those places, the odds of me seeing it aren't nearly as high as if you find me on Discord, particularly on the Goblins and Growlers Discord, bit.ly/Goblin Discord. But I'm going to roll through our housekeeping stuff as quickly as I can because we're over an hour and I don't want Scott to be working on this into the wee hours of the morning. So telephone, telegraph, tell a friend about the Goblins and Growlers podcast. Word of mouth is not just the best Ludicrous album. It's also the best way to get the word out about our podcast. Tell everybody, put it on a USB flash drive and then mark it corporate secrets and drop it in parking lots. Go to Linktree, linktr.ee/goblins and growlers to see all of the links to all of our various social media presences, the website, all of those kinds of things. You can also sign up for the newsletter there. The newsletter's been a little bit quiet recently. If you weren't already aware, our beautiful boy Brandon has recently had a baby. So beautiful boy Brandon and his beautiful baby are rather occupied being new parent situation. So, we cut Brandon slack on that. You can check out our sister podcast, Quid Pro Roll, on your podcatcher of choice. We are so close to the very, very end of this campaign and the very, very beginning of the next campaign. There will probably be a little break time between the two, but I think we're only like 6 episodes or something like that. We haven't actually recorded the ending yet, so I don't know for sure, but I think we're only like 6 episodes of released content away from being at the end of the campaign. It's close. It's real close. If you are interested in seeing the bonus content we get to create with folks like Jarrett when they come on our show and our deep dives on all our various and sundry topics, you should go to patreon.com/goblinsgrowlers and sign up, because that's where we keep all of the more niched stuff that we talk about that we're like, I don't know that everybody's going to be interested in this. Some people will be interested in this, but not everybody, surely. All right. I think that's everything I got. Do y'all have any final thoughts you want to throw down?
Fresno Nightcrawler's just pants.
They're in the book. We got Fresno Nightcrawlers. Absolutely. 100%.
Fresno Nightcrawlers are in the book, y'all. All right. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye. If you like what you hear, consider subscribing and giving us a review over on Apple Podcasts. Especially early in the feed, subscriptions and reviews are super helpful for bringing new listeners our way. Thank you.